Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here with a tutorial. Yes, absolutely a tutorial. I'm not reverse engineering something I made months ago and don't really remember how to make. That's not what's happening here. This is what's happening. It's a tutorial. I'm gonna call it a corner hugging slider. That's gonna be my tentative title. Who knows if I will remember that when I go to edit, but that's what we're calling this. A little background, I learned how to make the sliding pocket from Eva at Bohemian Crafting, so I'm going to link her down below so you guys can check out her original video. That's the tutorial I use for this. And then I also watched a video by April ages ago about making corner huggers, and I put the two ideas together, so I will also link April's channel below so you can check that out there. And I made this because I was working like en masse on a bunch of journals at the same time, and made one of these and was like, what a cool concept. I showed it to April. She was like, you should do a tutorial. I was like, absolutely. I wrote down my notes, and then I lost my notes, and then I stopped working on all of those projects, so I forgot entirely about this until I was scrounging back through some things, and then I was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to make a tutorial, and I want to make these for my current project. How do I make it? And you guys might be surprised to hear, not a single note was found. So here we are making this again. I think I have the general concept down. I've done some pretty intense, heavy staring. So I think I remember-ish how to make this, but if we make mistakes, we're just going to learn how to fix them during this tutorial. We're winging it. We're going for it. So you guys might be like, okay, I heard you say corner hugging slider, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Those are just words you threw together. Well, this is a corner hugger. For those of you who do not know, they go onto the pages like this. They're really great little bookmarks, placeholders, embellishments. You can do all sorts of really cute stuff on a corner hugger, like add a little notepad, those kind of things. But I wanted this to be a little interactive element, so not only does this sit on the edge of a page, but you can slide the pocket out and reveal a secret little tuck spot, a little hidden tuck location, and it's got this pretty cool little like embellishment on the top, so that just adds like some fun motion to things, plus you get to like write secret messages in here. And then on the back side, I didn't do anything super special. I just put a little like paper book page envelope, so there is a little like tuck spot here to store something else, and then there's a little pocket back here to hide some more stuff back there. So really cute, really fun idea. I really love this, and I wanted to make more at the time that I made it, but I didn't get around to it because I was like overwhelmed. So I was like, all these projects aside, but now we're back into it, and I'm trying to do these, and I'm going to make a couple of these for the book I'm working on. So all I have done so far is got a 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. You don't have to use like a plain piece of cardstock. You can use a patterned piece of cardstock. I would recommend using something with some weight to it. So copy paper would not hold up for what you're going to do here, because anything that's interactive is going to get a lot of work, and that's going to wear down really quickly on copy paper. So I'm using a cardstock. I'm using black because that's what I need for the book I'm working on. Hopefully you guys can see, all I did was score this in half at long ways and vertically. So that's all I've done. And what we're going to do, not with my smallest scissors, with my bigger scissors, we're going to cut one section out. And keep in mind when you're scoring stuff like this, if you're not just going to like freehand measure it and pencil mark it or whatever, to choose a side to cut on. So if you're going to cut up against the edge on one side, you want to make sure that your next cut is also up against the edge. It'll just give you some more consistency. There. Okay. So then, don't throw this square away. We need this square. And in fact, it's not a square, it's a rectangle. But also, in fact, we need it to be a little bit smaller than our current squares. And since I cut on the edge, it's already too big. I'm going to cut this down on a straight edge, not on the wonky edge I cut, by about 1/4 of an inch on 2 sides. And I'm just going to eyeball that. That doesn't need to be perfect. It's not necessary for the success of what we're doing here. But then we're going to score this on the sides that we folded. That doesn't make any sense. On the side that I scored, I'm going to score it. But, oh, I hate this. It's fine. It's not fine. It ruins my life by being there. It's like the downside to using a scoring tool. But it's fine. Situation rectified. So then, we're going to have our L shape and this shape here, right? And then on the L-shapiest side, so a longer side, if you're using 8.5 by 11, if you're using a 12 by 12, you'll have a 6 by 6 square. Just pick a corner. It doesn't matter. The one that's underneath the open space. This one. That's important. You're going to make a notch. However you choose to make a notch, you can use a fancy punch. You can use your cutting machine. I'm going to use a cutter and a ruler. And I'm not necessarily worried about it being perfectly straight, because this is sort of a grungy book, and so not perfectly straight works in context. So I'm just going to make a cut here, then slide up a little bit, and make another cut. I need to decide how long this hole is going to be. Well, now it's going to be approximately this long because I really overshot that. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to hide it anyways. But if you are like a stickler for that kind of stuff, then measure and do it proper. Okay, so there is the notch for our tag. And then this little slightly smaller piece of paper, we are going to stick to the back here. And we're going to glue it on all 4 sides, not on this part. We're going to come up above a little bit. And that's going to be what holds our tag in, and then also keeps it from like interfering with the mechanisms we have back here. So outside of the little notch that like we cut out, nothing's going to go to waste in this, which I kind of like, especially like if you're using a whole sheet of 12 by 12. That's like a nice thing. You don't have to have like an unnecessary scrap. Sorry, I'm at the end of my glue here, so. We're just gonna go like this all the way around all 4 sides. And then stick it down. And make sure that it adheres really well. Don't get glue off my fingers. Okay, so I scored this in the wrong direction. Okay, so this is the part that's going to fold this way, and this is the part that's going to hang on to the page. So we're going to glue it right here. Only on the one side. And if it's not conceptualizing for you, trust the process. It's going to come together beautifully in a moment. All right. So now we have this, we have this. You are eventually going to glue right here on this side. Or tape. You could actually, I have tape. Could use that. And tape with cat hair. So we'll just... This is just their house. I live in it. I actually pay all the rent because I'm a really great roommate. So the next thing that I need is just a scrap little strip of paper. Doesn't matter what it is. This is actually the cover piece of the paper pack that I'm using. So I'm going to use this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little belly band. I'm going to come really flush to the edge for this side here. But I'm going to give you guys a pro tip as I drop some glue down here. So, flush to this edge, and then I'm going to pull it just ever so slightly, like a fraction of an inch, like what's a 1/16 of an inch, like not even a full eighth, just to give it some wiggle room, and then come up here and match it flush with this edge. So that this way, when it slides, it will be much easier than trying to make it, like, slide. If it was exactly the same size on both sides, it would be a little bit of a struggle. Not like a super struggle, but you'll thank yourself later when it's a lot easier to move around. So there's our sliding element, right? So we are free to go ahead and glue this side down. I'm going to give that a little bit of extra glue, more than I normally would, because I need it to hold together pretty well. And that's essentially it, you guys. That's the bones of this whole thing. That's the entire, like, skeleton of this done. Like, there's your sliding element. Whatever you embellish is going to cover up this pocket. Especially if you just stick to this square, you're going to have your slider cover up moment. It's like all the way back here. So if you decorate to just the square size, whatever covers here will definitely come over here, just depending on where you have your belly band. So if you have it way up here and then you decorate all this, you're going to have a really long ways to go. Just keep that in mind. And then here's our little page attachment, corner part. I'm not going to stick a piece of paper on it because it'll get stuck inside, but I think you guys get the concept. There's the corner hugger. There's the sliding part. Now, to do this, like this embellishment, I just used, I don't know if you guys can see inside here, a couple of scraps of paper on top of a pretty sturdy piece. So I got like a little piece, a little scrap piece of chipboard that I had left over. And I use that as my base. I don't have a scrap right here on hand. So I'm going to use this handmade paper. It's pretty thick. It's pretty weighty. It'll hold up. I'm going to use a couple pieces probably together to build a base. And then I'm going to craft on top of that. So give me a second to figure out what I'm actually going to do. Okay. So I figured out what I wanted to do. So we are back. I found a bigger piece of that handmade paper, like a scrap of it. That's going to work really great as the base for our little slider dude here. I found some cardstock I'm going to use, and I found a focal point, which is great and excited. So if you were here for just the tutorial part and not the actual embellishment part, see you later. Adios. Because we're just going to talk and decorate this. This is going to be the crafty, scrappy, whatever. Craft with me because why not? It's my video. I can do what I want. But thanks for joining us for the tutorial. Catch you guys next time. Bye. You know, that kind of stuff. Anyways, here. So I'm gonna glue this piece down. I'm gonna stick this down already, and then just craft my little square piece. It doesn't have to be a square necessarily. You just want to have whatever you craft cover up that pocket, or yeah, that little pocket tuck spot. I went a little bit beyond the size of this corner hugger for this one, but again, the only limit is your imagination. So let me think. Using my brain in all of its wonderful magical capacity, we're going to glue this part down. And then this is the base that I will glue whatever I design onto. Whee! I should like wait till it sticks and dries before I start doing that, right? Gosh, this might need more glue now because I moved it. goofy. Nobody to blame but myself for that. And maybe ADHD a little bit. A little bit. Maybe a lot of bits. Because I literally forgot it was wet the second I put it down. And this doesn't have to be like perfectly straight. It'll drag depending on whatever you put on top. So we're good here. So I'm going to put that off to the side. And then I'm going to cut this out to be the size of that, because I do want the embellishment to be that size. Which is 4 1/4. Nope, 5 1/2 long. And then 4 1/4. Then I have these little scrappy pieces left. I think I'll use those on the back side. So I think I'll do is pop this on here and then make this a pocket. But I like this part. Like the colors here. Oh yeah, I can make that work. Heels. So I don't know, it's been a while since I've done anything like crafty chatty. I might even voice this over later and just talk about something else. I don't know. Not really sure what to do with all those thoughts and feelings. But yeah, I kind of miss just hanging out and chatting and crafting with you guys. I know I haven't been doing that much. Most of the time it's because I start crafting and then I like remember halfway through that I should maybe make content for my YouTube channel, and then I go, nah, nobody wants to see that. And then I post something and you guys are like, we want to see that, and I'm like, ah, oh, dang it. And then I just repeat the cycle. Like, it doesn't really register. So then I have to like conscientiously be like, do it. And that has varying degrees of success. Plus, like, this last half of the year always gets, like, just cluttered up with things to do. You know, like, there's so much going on, and there's challenges, and other things I want to accomplish, and then the holidays, and I'm like, whoa, craziness. And then by the end of it, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go to sleep, because there's only those options. And then I remember you have a YouTube channel, and you need to make content for it. And then I repeat the first cycle all over again. But also been doing like a lot of looking into like burnout and how that works, and like, you know, the long recovery process for that, and how people don't seem to realize that burnout can take years and that kind of thing. I think I've talked about that a little bit before in the past. But, like, I got to a point where I just really acknowledged that I was super burnt out. And then every time I feel like I recover a little bit, I find myself sort of falling back into that cycle. And so, like, kind of learning about the fact that burnout isn't something you recover from immediately, and it does go in waves, was, that's pretty cool. It doesn't really match, like, my theme. But it doesn't not match my theme either. Possibilities. Yeah, we're just gonna go, fuck it, go with it. This channel is not for children. I should maybe ink up the other side better then. But yeah, like, thinking about that and like the impact that has, like, burnout in general, and how it's not something you just sort of get over in an evening, and, you know, like, it goes in waves, really just kind of helps reframe, like, the negative self-talk that I have, like, issues with a lot of times, where I'm like, gosh, you know, you shouldn't be this burnt out, like, you haven't really been doing that much to be burned out, like, why are you feeling that way? And then I just kind of, like, really beat myself up about it. And, you know, like, there's more factors than just burnout to those feelings. But then, like, telling myself that I'm failing or I'm not achieving things, or, you know, like, beating myself up because I'm not one of those people who's constantly, like, making content and pushing stuff out, isn't helping me recover either, right? Like, it's not helping those feelings go away. It's just sort of defeating the purpose and keeping me in that negative headspace. So that's what I've been looking into, because, like, right now I'm feeling like sort of a creative resurgence to actually get back into making journal stuff. That was like up and down, up and down. Now I'm really feeling it, so that's why we're here making a video. And that's great. Like, I'm really excited, but then I also have that, like, deep-seated fear in the back of my mind that, like, next week I'm going to be in the same place and I'm going to be down for the count. And a lot of that has to do with, like, the chronic fatigue I've been dealing with. If you guys know anything about chronic fatigue and have tips, like, let me know, because your girl is struggling. But yeah, like, since I got COVID, I've been dealing with long COVID, and one of the symptoms has been chronic fatigue. And essentially my doctor's like, yeah, you have it. Hopefully it goes away. It might not, and it's very likely in your situation, given your current health conditions, that it won't, and you're just going to have to deal with chronic fatigue for, like, the foreseeable future. But then there's no, like, solution on how to deal with that outside of, like, take your vitamins, drink your water, sleep. And when you're an insomniac who doesn't retain vitamins and, like, doesn't absorb stuff easily, I can only drink so much water. And that doesn't help the insomnia. But anyways, in this oversharing hour, yeah, that's kind of just what I've been dealing with and going through, and then trying to figure out ways to, like, do things that are relevant. And then I think part of the problem I have too is that I start crafting and I think nobody wants to see this. And then I realize afterwards that maybe somebody did want to see it, and I'm just underselling what I'm doing, or underselling my worth. I don't know how to describe that. It's not positive. So I like this, and I'm wondering if a metallic texture would bring this up a little bit. Yeah, kind of, right? I've been using a lot of like, hexagon patterns for this journal in particular, for no reason. It's one of those things I just chose unintentionally, really gravitated towards the shape, and I really like the shape. But this is one of those weird, odd design choices that I have no reason for, and I kind of am loving that, because I feel that a lot of the things that, like, we put down on our pages has to be really intentional, and I tend to overthink and think about, like, reasons and why things are there or what they are for. And, like, you could argue that, like, since it is sort of a grungy, nature-ish type book, that the theme, like, using beehive patterning, hexagon patterning, is nature-related, so therefore it's on brand, which, yeah, was probably the argument I'm going to make when I film my final video. But, like, honestly, it's not why I chose it. I just chose it because I like the shapes. And, like, my whole shtick is doing things like crafting intentionally, but then, like, I'm really just sort of enjoying the idea that this is what called to me, so that's what I went with. And I didn't let the fact that I didn't have, like, a greater purpose or meaning behind it dictate or determine what I was going to do. So I'm going to put her here, and I can't decide if I want to use, like, a word or a quote. I have all of these that I'm working with, because narrowing my field of view is not something I was doing. Maybe this one? Yes. We're just going to go for it. Mostly because a lot of you guys are going to be real confused when you go to watch this video and you're like, it's a tutorial, it's 40,000 minutes, wine. And realize the majority of it is just me talking and crafting. But I don't know what you guys think, like, how you guys feel about these things. I know this isn't, like, a unique situation, that my, like, issues aren't, you know, singular. or something like I have to do with myself. Like other people are also going through this, you know what I mean? If that makes sense. So if you are going through it, or you are aware of this, or you have gone through it, like, let me know. What do you think? What do you think is a solution? I'm open to hearing ideas and stuff like that, because, you know, it's just really frustrating to have the desire, but then not the capacity, and then vice versa, to have the capacity and not the desire. And I feel like that's like the place that I'm stuck in right now. Especially for the majority of this year, which might just be like the 2022 effect. So like, I'm glad that the year is kind of ending, so we can do that like clean slate, try to make a new start of it. But then like, I also kind of think that's silly. Like, you can make a new start whenever you want. But like, I think maybe it's part of the, like, the whole like fuckery of the year. I don't know how else to describe it. This year has been so weird in all of the events that have occurred, and just the way that it's like really worn people down. But yeah, like, I think pretty much my theme for this year was just being stuck between having the desire but no capacity, and having the capacity but no desire. And I just find like that to be my constant everyday struggle. Because like, today I feel great, tomorrow I might wake up and be like, absolutely not, I can't do this, I can't do anything. And then I'll just be like mad at myself for not achieving it, or like, you know, being in that hustle life the entire time. Okay, yeah, I think that's a good spot for this. I think part of the problem too with these like craft with me videos is that I go really quiet and I don't have anything like meaningful to add while I'm like in the zone, which is why I wanted to do story time. So like, I guess, yeah, if you're still watching this, I appreciate your faith. Well, you know what kind of stories you guys want to hear? I do want to do a couple of like Greek myths stories like that. I considered going back and doing more cryptid stories, because you guys seem to really like that. And then like maybe scary stories. But if there's like a story in particular you want to hear, especially if it's a story I haven't heard yet, I would love to go look that up and then tell it to you. The story that you already know. And if there's a story that you've never heard but you're interested in, I would also love to go look up that, or just tell it to you. I have a really extensive library of fairy tales, mythology, folklore. Those kind of things are like some of my favorite things. And just digging through all of my cutouts here, I have this massive pile. I went on like a cut machine bender and cut out a ton of these fern leaves because I like ferns, and I only have a couple leaf shapes. So I had to use what I had. I think I like this one. No, I don't. Maybe something sparkly. Yeah, I like that better. And then, what was I saying? All I know is I'm digging through all the leaf shapes I cut out, because I went crazy and cut out a bunch of leaf shapes. But yes, I'm using ferns because I like ferns, and I think they're on brand for what I'm trying to achieve. I'm looking for a darker one of these. Bear with me. Well, maybe. I have a gold one. Do I like that? I don't know. You guys tell me. Do I like that? I don't think I do. I think it's too many metals. This one works. That's the same paper. This is a jelly print, like little leftover piece, and I really love these, so I need to make more jelly prints just to cut up, because like you just get some really interesting pieces here. So I think actually I want this to be more prominent. I've been noticing that I've been putting all of these big leaves like towards the bottom of stuff, but I think it's okay if it takes up more space. That doesn't work. That works. And we'll probably drop that in underneath. Okay. What else can I talk about? Yes, tell me what stories you want to hear so that I know what stories to tell, so that when I go to do these craft with me videos, there won't be long periods of silence, because I'll have a really cool story to voice it over, and then I'll probably be more encouraged to do more craft with me's because I'll have more stories to tell. And then let me think. What else? I have a couple new members to my design team. I'm going to announce that soon. Really excited. I'm also changing up the way that I release digitals next year. Instead of doing them monthly, I will be doing them in like big batches, semi-irregularly. So probably like 6 to 8 weeks. But you'll get bigger shop updates, which I think is going to be beneficial and fun. And then I hate touching glue, so don't judge. We're gonna get a bit better angle on this. And I forgot that this one was underneath, but that's okay. And then, can I get this one in this space? I think for the most part that'll still work, and I'll add something down here. I'm gonna go ahead and glue her on because I don't think I need her to be free anymore. If you hear like a strange slurping sound, that is the sound of my cat drinking from her fountain, which is now right next to me because reasons, I don't know why. She was making a mess where it was before, so now it's closer to me and I can hear her right now slurpity slurping. But whatever gets them to drink water. Because cats, I feel, are just like small children when it comes to having to force them to drink water. So I have to rearrange my camera. For whatever reason, my like arm mount no longer holds my phone still. So I don't know if like my phone is now officially too heavy because I got a newer phone. Or what. But it's been a joy watching my videos slowly tilt off into obscurity. And I did try tightening everything. It doesn't work. So there's this, and I could stop here and be very satisfied with it, but why? I want this one. These like little tiny Tim Holtz embellishments have become my new favorite obsession, to the point where I have like the same ones in my cart ready to reorder once these start to get low, because I freaking love them. They're also dangerous because I use them on everything. I mixed like a couple different inks when I re-inked this, and now it is like the juiciest, most upsetting-est inker, which is great for heavy distressing, but horrible for my fingers, as you guys can see. But I do love the results. It was like a chalk ink, and then I added archival ink because I don't have the chalk ink refiller for it, and then I forgot that I used archival ink, so I added distress ink, and then as I was adding it, was like, oh yeah, that's not what you used the first time. And yeah, here we are. And I actually left it out for like a week without the lid and was really upset and concerned because I thought that I forgot it and it dried out and I wasted all that re-inker. And then it worked perfectly and was like disgustingly juicy, so I was like, well, I don't know what happened here, if there was like a chemical reaction or the exposure to air like set it off. I'm actually okay with covering this up, yes. But if you were my glue, you would not be in your cup. This is why I have a cup. I keep a cup right up there so I can put my glue in it upside down when it starts to run low, and then I never put the glue back in the cup because I enjoy waiting. I'm actually not super attached to the 75 years or the years part of this so much as I'm just attached to the 75. So if you're wondering why, because I wanted it so bad, that's why. Also, this one says it's a Soalas of Fern, so that works. I just love how like this finishes whatever I'm working on. These little tiny embellishments have become my obsession because of that particular reason. And then I have these even smaller itty bitty tiny leaves. I'm just gonna smooch a little glue down there for that. And then try not to be super picky as I dig through these looking for one. But these teeny tiny leaves. And I've just been tucking them in everywhere. So that's told me that I need to go find more teeny tiny leaves because I really like fine embellishments like this. Like really tiny petite things. And these are a lot of fun. But you know, like I need more leaf shapes. It's definitely what I learned doing this because the only leaf shapes I have are these and the ferns. And they definitely did some work. Alright. So there is going to be the topper for our little slider dude. And then I'm going to apply the actual glue that I'm going to use. I'm going to center it a little bit better. Wipe that off. You might be like, Priscilla, that's not really enough glue. I'm gonna cheat and stick in a couple dabs of tape runner for the sake of the video. And so that this will dry. And then I'm gonna center my image. I'm not really worried about anything else because as long as the image is straight, the belly band will fix itself. Its little situation. But yeah, so there is our little slider bit. I think now that I'm looking at it, I want to add a little tab, like a little pull tab here. So let me find a tab. Or actually, I have this little square left from where I made our cut. So I'm just going to fold it on the other side and then cut a tab shape out. And then we'll use the entirety of that 8x8 square of cardstock as well. Which is kind of neat. I don't know what tab shapes look like, so this is going to be fun. Free-handed. I hate it, but we're going to use it. Yeah, it's not that bad. I'm going to cut this bottom part off, though. It does not need to be a mile high. Tab. And then, I think before I stick it down, I'm gonna grab my little clippings dudes and add a little quotey quote there. Where's my things? There they are. So we have this one. It says someone digging in the ground. Ooh, it actually fits right there. How perfect is that? I am gonna ink it a little bit. Only because it's like super white for one of the clippings. And then I'm going to add a little lino glue. But yeah, that's it. I can't really think of anything super interesting. I guess not a lot of interesting stuff happens when you are chronically tired. So there's that. Someone digging in the ground. And now that I'm looking, I kind of think this like tree branch little piece might be kind of cool right there. I'm going to cut it a little bit smaller. Hit it with some glue real quick before my word label dries. And lift those up. Yeah. And then a little bit of glue for the inside. Try not to fold the branch inside of the tab. That would be tragic. And then I'm just going to position it till I get it to a spot I like. And there we go. So it has a little pull tab here. So whoever gets this will know they can pull there. And then yeah, I just have to come up with a tag to fill this pocket. And then some stuff for the back here. But I'm going to leave it here for now while I figure out what I'm going to do on the other side. Because I think you guys get the gist. And that's our little corner hugging slider. Which is pretty neat. I might add something back here as like a little secret dude. But yeah, I'm super happy with how that came out. It's really cute. And then like I said, just be aware when you guys are gluing this piece down, like where your belly band is and like how much it is in relation. So if you want to have all of this journaling space, then you actually need your belly band to be farther away so that when you pull it's, or closer up, I don't remember. You need your belly band to be in a certain spot. I think you need it to be closer so that when you pull, this piece gets pulled all the way down here. Yeah, it has to be up here and you glue it to the top. So just this part will get glued down. And then when you pull, it'll be way down here with your belly band. But yeah, you can do some cool, fun, interesting stuff like that. If you guys try this out, let me know. Definitely give me a tag so I can see it. I would love to see your guys' creations. It always like makes my day. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up because I don't know what else to talk about right now. And I have a couple more of these to make. So I've got y'all in the next one. I hope that you are happy, you are well, and I appreciate your faces. Until next time, bye!